Hello and welcome to a strange video. This is another wonderful episode of Tom's TV show reviews. We're reviewing the Netflix Swedish original Clark. Now, I did watch Clark when it first came out, and I did review Clark when it first came out, but not for Tom's TV show reviews. I reviewed it for my podcast, Take Two. A very good podcast. It is coming back. A lot of things are happening with this channel where I'm reviving old things that never went anywhere. So, a few weeks ago, okay, let's just delve into some back history here. There's a Radio 5 Live show. Radio 5 Live is BBC Radio 5, which is a news, sport and entertainment radio station here in the UK. They have a show on it called Must Watch, which is where Hayley, Scott and Nahal Arthur Nagan is the host of his own show in the afternoon, but they do a podcast type thing called Must Watch where they recommend the shows you should watch that week, and they have a section where they get emails in from the listeners and it can be recommended a programme or asking a general question. So I'm obsessed in a sense with Clark. When it first came out, I watched it all the day it came out. I was telling everyone to watch it, go and watch it. I was making sure everyone knew about it, and then I thought, well, I tried it a few times to get my email read out about it on Most Watch, but this time it worked. So, and it made me think, well, I haven't actually done Tom TV show reviews on it, but I don't really want to discredit my previous review that's still available to watch in its original format over on the Weird Sandwich channel you're watching now if you just type in Take Two Clark. So I thought, well, I've just cut it so it's just a review. I'll play some bits of bombs at the beginning. So all you're about to see is this. You're about to listen, you'll see an image appear on your screen, a still image of a Must Watch, where for the first few, it's like 50 seconds, they're talking about my email they read out about Clark, and then you'll see my review of Clark, and then it'll come back to me, this me now, 2024 me, not 2022 me, and I'll give some updated opinions and updated thoughts and what I think about Clark now, rather than what I thought about it at the time, and it'll be a sort of retrospective type thing, but it won't be retrospective, it will be a review due to the fact that we've got the review involved in it, if that makes at all sense, because hopefully this all makes sense. We've got the standard intro, standard outro, and standard me talking now in the middle, but we will have new stuff. So this is a interesting bit, the thumbnail. I'll be honest, I'm mega proud of that. I quite like that. Trying to get the Clark title, the logo in it, and have the plain background where I can just shift it around so I've got room so I don't cover up any of the image with the text, was a faffon, a nightmare. And I did it on the mobile iPad app version of Photoshop, not the desktop version, which is two similar things. I will do a review on that at some point in the future, because I still do tech videos, but I just don't do them as regular as I do televisual content. So, without further ado, enjoy listening to people talking about my email I wrote to them about the Netflix Swedish original Clark with English subtitle, now available on Netflix, and then you'll see my review of it from the Take Two podcast. So the setup is different, the quality of camera is 100% different, so a lot of things with it is different. And over the time we've improved, we've developed, and we're here now with this new camera that we're still learning, we're still developing, and we're trying to see what actually works, and then we're trying to learn new angles and a lot of things. So I was in college when I filmed the review and I watched Clark. I'm now in university, so it's been a few years. Please enjoy Past Me and Written Down Me.
Tom from Lancashire. Hayley, what did Tom have to say?
Says, dear, the best podcast team ever.
Well, we'll take that.
We will take that, thank you. I've been listening to the podcast for years now, and I want to recommend the 2022 Swedish Netflix series Clark, brackets, there are English subtitles. It's a fantastic show. I saw it all the day it came out. It's about Clark, who was the man who helped make the term Stockholm Syndrome, and how he became a massive criminal.
I'll
To be
check
honest,
out.
that sounds right up my street, and I don't understand why I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I know.
Download
When
for
you-
next week.
when
So,
Sorted
thank you,
for
Tom.
Hayley.
When you were reading that out, I was like, this could be written by Hayley.
Yeah,
I know.
Hayley, we can't send emails to ourselves recommending shows to put on download. I know what you're
And
trying
it's
to
a
do
bit
here.
obvious that I've called us the best podcast team ever.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a bit pathetic.
Yeah, it's a bit Trumpian, isn't it?
Yeah.
That? It is a bit Trump. Best podcast team ever.
Oh, that's so many impressions this week.
Original Clark. All about the Swedish, what Wikipedia calls celebrity gangster, which I'm still quite unsure what we're what links to the words celebrity gangster. What is justified by celebrity gangster? Obviously, we know what justifies as a gangster, but what about celebrity gangster? Who knows? Anyway, so she stars in Clark. She's in episode 5 if you want to go watch the program. If you want to watch the program, it is available in dubbed, but I recommend you watch it with subtitles. Spoilers will be ahead for what's about to happen. I think it's an 8-episode program, might be 6, but I think it's 8. It's about Clark Overson, who was the origin of Stockholm Syndrome, which was a bank robber in Stockholm. Obviously, it's a place in Sweden. He was in prison. So as a child, he didn't have a great upbringing, so no wonder he went into the life of crime. He did a lot of robbing. He was very popular. I think that's why I'm going to try and make his family friendly as possible. So elements of the show I won't be mentioning because we all know I'm a family friendly YouTuber / podcaster. So I want to keep it as family friendly as possible. So the program works in a sense of it's a mixture of vintage footage from the time of it happening mixed with modern day footage. Now the bloke that plays Clark played Pennywise in the It 1 and It 2. So if you know the actor's name, do let me know in the comments down below because I think I know his name, but he's Swedish, so it's like the pronunciation I don't want to get wrong or anything. So Clark Halverson is the main character, and I'm quite glad I've got that right because when I'm telling people to watch Clark, I'm saying watch Clark, watch Clark, watch Clark, watch Clark. It's called Clark Overson, and I never got his name right until now. I got his name right until now. Clark Overson, diddle-diddle-doo. Boo! The police, a bloke called Tommy, is heavily after him. Like, literally, has risked his whole career to chase after Clark. Clark has been in prison multiple times, been in, prison where he's on his own, prison where he's with everyone. He started a riot. Now, I didn't quite understand the riot bit, because when he started a riot in the prison, he made them all not eat food, and obviously, you can't live without eating. So it didn't, obviously, go to plan. Well, he did, but not for Clark. So Clark, on a hunger strike, is what it was. He would eat and eat and eat. I think, if my memory serves me right, the Stockholm Syndrome event happened in 1973. So he's been a criminal years before. And he got his girlfriend at the time to bring him the food, and his mum was proud. I think his mum was only proud of him because he became famous. I think there's a difference, because parents don't want children to become murderers, robbers, gangsters, celebrity gangsters, as Wikipedia likes to call it. I don't trust everything Wikipedia says, so I'm hesitant to know what a celebrity gangster is based on what Wikipedia wants to tell me. He's still alive. He lives in Belgium. So obviously, he must have seen Clark. He must have thought he was incredible because the bloke that plays Clark in the series looks really like Clark Overson, the actual human being. And I just think the series is immaculate. There's nothing I can say that's terrible about it, apart from what happened in the program, as in like the stuff that Clark did. Obviously, was deemed terrible, but in my eyes, it wasn't a terrible program. Babben Larsson was in it and was perfect in it. So I've got a good feeling she's got a whole acting career coming for her. And I mean, she might have already had an acting career, I'm not too sure. But I reckon she will become the next famous actor, the next Swedish breakthrough actor. And will have her own Netflix original, even though she was in this Netflix original. The way they filmed it was so there's a scene where they're in the car. They're in a car, right? So it cuts to him in a car, and this is like just before he goes in to speak to the bank robbers that's got the people held hostage. So he sat there in the car, and it cuts to a vintage clip of what the voiceover people, the commentators, the news reporters who were actually reporting at the time, the crowd that were actually there. And they get to the window, and you don't see the actual people, you see the cast from the Netflix version, which I thought was incredible. It's incredible! It's incredible! It's incredible! It's incredible! So I've been listening to Kermode and Mayor Takes, which is their brand new film, TV podcast, after they left BBC Radio 5 Live. And obviously I've been inspired obviously I changed the name before I found out what they called their podcast. But I've been listening to it, I've been watching it, because they upload them on YouTube as well. So I am learning the best ways to review film and TV from a film reviewer, Mark Kermode. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So, with Stockholm Syndrome being this, like, not what everyone thought it was, you realise that the crime committed wasn't Clark Overson, which is quite weird because they all called him Stockholm Syndrome, even though Clark Overson didn't actually commit the bank robber that was talked about on the show. So the bank robber that was talked about on the show was Clark's friend. Clark's friend, don't remember his name, sorry, do apologise. Clark's friend was the mastermind behind the murder. I mean, not the murder, the rob of the bank, but decided to be inspired by Clark. So obviously there's a bit of a overlap there. But with this, it causes a few problems. It causes problems that they end up... I don't know what's wrong with Clark. There's a few things wrong with him as a person. Because he flew to Spain, I think it was Spain, at one of the episodes, and he was on the front cover of a few magazines. So obviously the Swedish police are going to catch him that easily. And they caught him easily. He escaped the prison again. He was a very good escape artist, making a rake and turning the rake into ladders. Very clever man. And then he turns up somewhere else and gets arrested somewhere else because he becomes famous in those countries. So I think I worked out where the celebrity bit comes from. But the gangster bit, I don't know. But his friend and Clark went to go and rob another bank because he thought, we need the cash, let's go rob a bank. And then ended up robbing... His friend ended up lighting the bomb off by accident. That wasn't the cleverest of moves. But he did flock to Belgium to start a new life and not become a robber. But not everything turns out well because obviously past mistakes still haunt him and he hasn't been caught for everything he's done. So, there you go. This has been my 10-minute review of Clark. All episodes are available on Netflix around the world. It's a Netflix original. You can watch it with subtitles and in dubbed if you wish. I do recommend watching it with subtitles. I'm not recommending dubbed because you want to hear Babylon Larson's original voice. Well done past me, that was a wonderful review. And well done past me for actually getting the email read out on Most Watch. I'm just going to put my phone down on the floor. There you go. I don't really want to mention that just in case it was a thought. Because it was in my elbow space, because I need to put it down. I've lost the camera. I've lost the light. But it doesn't matter. I've still got another. So, Clark. Clark is one of those programs that you really watch and go, wow. And I still think about it today, due to the fact that I only stumbled across this because I interviewed Babben Larsson, who is the Swedish Taskmaster. She's a comedian by herself. She's appeared on the Swedish version of QI, and she's also a television presenter in Sweden. She used to work mainly for SVT, which is their version of the BBC. But now she works for TV4, which is the new home of the Bestie Test, which is what Swedish Taskmaster's called. So, and Taskmaster Sweden is available on the Channel 4 app, which used to be called O4. Before that, it was called 4OD. So you can go watch it there and see her stunning performance as a Taskmaster, and then you can go and watch her cameo in Clark. Now, Clark is one of those programs that has a megastar as its lead. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, but he played Pennywise in the new It franchise, in the reboot It franchise. Clark is one of those things where you watch it and go, wow, and you keep going, wow, and you end up getting more obsessed with it. So, it's based on a true story, but the way it's filmed, the way it's edited, the way it looks, it's just gorgeous. And it's also a lot of, you question what's going on, because you've got Clark Olofsson, who is the main protagonist, because it's about Stockholm Syndrome, and you think, well, did he invent Stockholm Syndrome? And this review does contain spoilers. I should have mentioned that at the very beginning of the video. And you go through it and he goes, well, he does get in trouble, he does go to prison, he does get all the ladies. I won't go any further details than that, because this is a family-friendly review. And he is very much well liked in that sense. He's very good at escaping, running around, but he's like a celebrity gangster, shall we say. So that's what it's described as, in a sense of, who is Clark Olofsson? Well, it's a celebrity gangster, so you can't really say much else, can you? No. But the show doesn't say, yes, do this. It isn't like, he did this, then he did this, then he did that, then he did that. Oh no, and then he did that. No, it was like a voiceover that explain some of the bits that you can't really explain. But I do think that the show itself worked very well. It was well made. I think the acting was brilliant. There was bits in it that I wouldn't necessarily put in it, but that's just my own opinion. We can go into too much detail, and I think that when he goes to prison and you think, well, is that going to stop him from doing these crimes? And you learn that he is Stockholm Syndrome, but he isn't. He's Stockholm Syndrome's friend, sorry, I should say, because he didn't really commit the crime that led fame to Stockholm Syndrome, as in the what we know now. So it was one of those things like, what? Wait, hang on. Hold your horses, people, hold your horses. I thought you were Stockholm Syndrome. Hold your horses. Hang on. You can't be Stockholm Syndrome's friend. Wait a moment. And you're like, well, yeah, you can. And you're like, no. But you question sanity, you question everything, and you're like, right, I'm back to square one. What do we do now? Come on, give me feedback. What do we do now? Come on. How do we go from here? Well, bring him in as a negotiator, because that's his friend, and his friend will be doing this because he wants to be like you. Oh, no. You do not want that, dear. And he's like, well, no, but yeah, but no, but yeah, but... And he's like, no, we're not in a Little Britain sketch. Thank you, Clark Olofsson. He is, like, fascinating. And it's one of those where you wish Netflix did one of those things where it went... So, ITV, for instance, they did Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, right? And it was a drama based on true events. And then, the following night, once they had all 4 episodes, they then did a programme called The Real Mr. Bates vs. the Post Office, where it was a documentary with the actual characters in it. I don't know if Clark Olverson is dead or whether or not they could have done a Netflix-style documentary about him, or they could have done The Real Clark, which would have been a documentary which showed... So the way this documentary would work is you talk about the events, play the clip from the show, and then get people that were there at the time, if anyone's still alive from the events at the time. Who really knows? So overall, I do think the show in 2024 is still a 10 out of 10. It's one of those things that I'll not stop recommending forever. Forever and ever and ever, I'll always recommend Clark. My favourite bit in Clark, pretty much, is the bit where he's in the back of the car, police car, and he's about to go and deal with Stockholm Syndrome itself. And you just get... That's my favourite moment of all time. And my second favourite moment of all time is when he's trying to eat something in this diner bar cafe thing, and then Babben Larsson turns up and says, "Oh no!" and you think that is Babben Larsson, and you say, "Well done," and it's like, what a stunning performance. Who knew? Who knew? Because I didn't know Babben Larsson could act. To be fair, from what I knew of Babben Larsson beforehand, I knew her as a presenter, a comedian. And when you see comedians that you've never really seen act before, for instance, I forgot that Bradley Walsh did Law and Order UK before I saw him act in Doctor Who. So I saw him as a straight presenter. When I see him act in Doctor Who, he was phenomenal. And so I now know that Babben is a comedian, presenter, and actor, because her performance was brilliant. So, there you have it. I will always recommend this show to anyone, and now if I want to recommend it even further, and say, do you want to see a review of it first? I'll send them this. And now I've got Tom's TV show reviews to review Clark. I think Clark is still a 10 out of 10, and sorry, the camera did die, so it cut off just before I said, thank you guys for watching, time of alert, bye! Sorry, this video has been all over the shop, quality-wise, but I have been trying to get this review together so that I've got a cohesive review.